Hedera HBAR bombshell discovery. We got some good news for you today, especially if you like HBAR. We're going to quickly show you BTCC, how to make a little extra money every single day. We say $100. We have people in our circle making well over $1,000 a day trading on BTCC. And where are you going to put that money except the decent wallet? So stay tuned. Look at these two commercials for us. That's how we make money with our channel. We're not embarrassed to do so. We're proud to do so. And we thank you for your participation. So check this out and we'll be right back. Real quick, here's the site, BTCC. You can scan this link. Look at this. This is money I made today. Do you see these percentage of returns? Look at that. It's really easy. If you believe XRP is going to be greater than the price it is that you're looking at the moment on the site, then place a trade and wait. Then when it's worth more, cash it out. It's actually that simple. Scan the link, experiment inside using the demo account, and see for yourself that it's easy to make 100, 200, 500 extra dollars every single day. Yes, it's possible. I'm doing it, and I'm not bragging. I'm just saying this is something you can do. So I'm not giving investment advice, but check it out for yourself and see if it's something that you feel like would be a good thing for you. Also, check out the Decent Wallet. The recent debacle that happened with the XRPL network affected some wallets where it opened up a back door. It did not affect the Decent Wallet. The Decent Wallet is a very safe wallet. It's one of the safest, if not the safest, with the air gap technology and the fact that you have to couple the device with your phone and have a seed phrase that has multiple layers of security. Your assets will be safe. Go ahead and pick you one up. Tap the link that you see appearing at the top and go ahead and pick yourself one up. Thank you for looking at that, and thank you if you're participating with what we show on this channel. We love bringing you content. By the way, you can always skip the first part of these videos if you want to and get right to the content. That's not offensive. It's okay. Generally, we'll do chapters where you can do that. But Hedera HBAR bombshell discovery. We got a couple items that add to this fact about what HBAR is going to do, including some things in gaming and some other things. Go ahead and get us started.
Well, to start things off is some key discoveries, and it's basically from our brother in the community, Tokenizer. If anything, on this video, at least from my end, you'll see a particular segment in regard to Chain Stats Pro, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But whatever the case be, what does Tokenizer have in his most recent update? Well, let's just jump on over to it. Tokenizer has this, and basically speaking, we all are aware fully about the governing council of Hedera. It's probably the most impressive one there is out there. But I like what Tokenizer has here. He mentions specifically this, and that is the big names outside the governance council on HBAR. Let's talk about it. For one, Accenture with MTech, huge names. Six Group, how many times did I cover that with basically Quant with the research? Shout out to Quant Papa. FedNow equals Drop. UK government equals Neuron. Visa equals SKUX. NVIDIA, EQTY Labs. DIFC Courts equals Tajuri. WiseKey equals HCS. Tech Mahindra Earth ID. And the United States government equals Takeon. Interesting to see the terminology. I won't read the following last two because I'm human and I don't know about everything, but where we're going to show some emphasis is this. And it is a bombshell discovery. So the one you're going to see here basically is what is mentioned on the left where it says United States Department of Defense. As you see right here, just in case it's not big enough for you, it's, again, the connections. Because even though it says, for example, Takeon, It's the whole key thing of the United States Department of Defense. Well, here's another discovery. And yes, it is Quant Network. Why point that out? Well, as you see here, Quant Network through the Overledger, through its third API integration platform, PipeDream, because we know about Make and Zapier, states that they have integration with this thing called Momentum Aerospace. Prompt, edit, and deploy AI agents to connect to Overledger, Momentum Aerospace, and 2,500 plus apps in seconds. And basically speaking, you may be wondering, is there smart contract functionality? Well, yes. You could prepare it, you could have it signed, and you can have it read. So there's that integration. Things talk to each other. Quant Network helps leverage technologies. Well, it's extremely interesting here, even with a basic search. How so? Well, as we get further into it, you know how we mentioned the whole thing of AI agents? Well, this is what I want to pull up. And again, you can verify this for yourself if you were to go over to the official Hedera X page. Well, on there, their most recent announcements is what? Pin message, March 26th, about specifically AI agents hackathon. How many times do they reference it? Well, even 6 hours ago, Hedera AI Agents Hackathon, meet the expert Brandon Davenport, talking about how he's the director of communications over at HGraph.io, which is a trusted technology partner. Like it says, blazing fast Hedera API access. Think about that. And a core voice of the Hedera community. Even as you get further into it, the DAO had, for example, a particular X space where you can win 30,000 plus 200 in pack AI agents. Again, AI agents. So I think there's something here, especially when you see some of these things, because specifically, just in case you forgot about it, the whole thing of prompt, edit, and deploy of AI agents. Now, another thing I want to talk about briefly is this. We know that when it comes to Palo Tasca, he is the plug and connect for both Hedera HBAR and Quant Network. How so? He's done work with both. And we also know that he is the co-founder of the Quant Network alongside Gilbert Verdian. But again, is also part of Hedera. So there's always been a thing in regard to Hedera and Quant. But what about this specifically about, again, the defense plug? Well, this gets really interesting because as you see here, Momentum Aerospace, Quant Overledger integration. When you jump into it, even on a simple Wikipedia search, if you look more into the company, it says specifically Momentum is an American government and commercial services contractor based in Chantilly, Virginia. The company was formed in 2020, but if anything, it was a spin out of AECOM's Managed Services. It's a federal group, by the way. And after Leidos, it is the second largest government services non-equipment producing contractor in the United States government contracting market. Now, where am I really going with this? Well, here's your highlight. The company the company has worked on mega projects, including the Sutong Yangtze River Bridge. And by the way, that's the world's largest cable stayed bridge. Now, I want you guys to think about this for a moment. You know, interesting to see, and I'll come back in the frame with Will. Will, we have the bridges for blockchain technology, the bridges for, let's face it, tokenization, the bridges for basically a whole new, more efficient currencies. So wouldn't it make sense that if you're building physical bridges and using that infrastructure, well, let's face it, building the new bridges for the new financial system. I think this was a big discovery, to say the least. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. You know, these parts and pieces are extremely important, and it's huge news, but it's kind of hard to communicate to people because it's getting deep into the weeds, so to speak. And some people, they don't want to think about that. It's like, trying to explain hash graph consensus with HBAR. It uses asynchronous Byzantine fault tolerance. Who wants to even try to say that? So some of these things, the people get lost in the weeds, but it's enough to say that um, the hash graph side of this is not blockchain technology. It operates completely different, which brings in why it's going to have security everywhere. It's super, super secure. And I believe they even say um, that it's resistant to the idea of what quantum computers might be able to do to hack. So when you talk about the average guy, that's going to be, when we're talking about the gaming side of this, that's going to be protected from being able to cheat. Hashgraph consensus is going to be the ticket to that. These other parts and pieces putting together with this is just another HBAR bombshell discovery. So these things together, HBAR is one of my favorite tokens. It, as far as concept, I like it better than XRP because the idea just, it stands on its own, man. It's its own thing out there. I really love it. So I'm excited to hear more. You still got some more to share with us, right?
Yeah, I do. And the other thing I don't want to dismiss is basically this. As you see on the screen, it's this other discovery. So we mentioned the world's longest cable stayed bridge. I just want to use that analogy about, bridge currencies, obviously. Well, the next part mentions One World Trade Center. That's incredible. And like it says, the tallest tower in Western Hemisphere, as well as some of the largest sports venues, ports, and disaster recovery programs in the entire world. My goodness gracious, great balls of fire. All right, let's get into this other announcement. Multiple announcements over a course of, multiple years. So we know, Will, that when it comes to Dr. Lehman Baird, he has pointed out specifically that he is a gamer like you and I. You and I met back in early, well, I should say early, but I want to say summer 2022 through our gaming group DPG. Hence why I'm DPG Maximus on X. Well,
No,
our
not 2022,
that's right, 2002, right?
2002. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry everybody.
Remember, we're old.
Well, it's work plus this and a lack of sleep. Whatever the case may be. We're passionate about what we do. He is right. It was 2002. So, literally, my goodness, over 20 years ago. So, the point I'm trying to make is Will and I's all time favorite game was Medal of Honor Allied Assault. And there's many reasons for that, right? But, Will and I want to make our very own first person shooter video game. It's part of our crypto end game. For real. It's a real thing. And with that also said, we feel as though that just like anybody else that's into gaming, what ruins it for gamers? It's the hackers, it's the cheaters, it's the guys with the incredibly small what that have to download hacks, right? To cheat an online video game. How is that right? How is that fair? I wish the United States would be like South Korea, where it passed legislation where it makes it an actual felony crime if you do that. Do we ever see it here? I don't think so. But I do kind of think so in regards to blockchain. I think that blockchain or distributed ledger technologies like the hash graph consensus protocol will get the job done. And this is where we want to go with this. We want to share some key things about that and talk a little bit more about the want and need about institutional gaming. Because there's a lot of talk, everybody, about the whole thing of specifically your Black Rocks and the big financial firms out there. Too much talk about it, but not enough talk about, guess what? The institutional gaming platforms out there. Because, by the way, if you guys aren't aware of it, Activision itself, I believe, is anywhere from 25 to 30 plus trillion dollars when it comes to their worth. That's a lot of money. All right. I said trillion, I meant billion. Okay. It's still a lot of money. So, where do we go with this when it comes to specifically Hedera? Again, let's pull this up on the screen. Hedera has had constant updates. Again, Dr. Lehman Barrett is an avid fan of gaming. As you see here, dating back to 2021, HBAR Foundation will have autonomy over the administration of its HBAR distributors and will provide grants to accelerate the developments of Hedera network for a wide variety of applications, CBCs, gaming, and other industries. But 2.5 billion? That's nothing to bat an eye at. As also referenced here, do we have anything similar to like EA or Activision? Well, I played plenty of games on Ubisoft. Shout out to you guys that used to play Far Cry, right? That was on Ubisoft. In collaboration with HBAR Foundation, Ubisoft, back in 2022, set up a Hedera dedicated track to the Ubisoft Enterprise Lab. Entrepreneurs Lab supports startups and global scale, of course, focusing on the future entertainment. What else do we have in the timeline? Well, back in 2020, gaming company Sky People Master building on Hedera consensus service to offer real-time auditable stats for players, preventing fraud across the entire set of games. And this is the part that I really, really want to get into. And that is statements like this. Because when you go to hedera.com/gaming, this is what really stands apart for Hedera compared to the competition of tackling the barriers and threats of online gaming, fraud, hacking, cheating, and so on. Hedera brings speed, trust, and fairness when recording in-game events, such as scoring a player's status and creating a transferring digital assets to enable the next generation of online play. Think about this, everybody. My thing is basically this, and it's the statements that you're about to see on the screen. How much revenue does first-person shooter games lose from cheating each year? Now, again, this is a search, but even Google recognizes that while there isn't a precise dollar amount for the annual revenue loss due to cheating in first-person shooter games, it is a significant issue that impacts game developers and publishers. Cheating can lead to the decline in player satisfaction. Absolutely. You play these games, you look forward to playing, and some guy shoots you across the map with a no-scope headshot as he reads a book like Will Fix is doing at the moment. I'm kidding. Anyway, so the point is you're distracted. Maybe you are camping. Maybe Will is like, I'm camping in the side corner right here. But my thing is this. Nobody wants that to happen. People want legitimate players. We don't want cheating. In sports, they don't want people using what? Human growth hormone advances. Well, the days of Mark, McGuire and Sammy Sosa and all that, and Barry Bonds, whether you're fans of them or not. People want legitimate players doing the right thing. No way around it. Well, why would gaming be any bit different? Heck, there's esports. Some of these guys get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. I am not quite into like that, but I just want to have a fair gaming experience. So the way I look at it is this. Yes, it does lead to a decline in player satisfaction. Yes, there's a cost of developing and implementing anti-cheat measures that also add to the overall cost of the game development. But last but not least, Will, I've mentioned this to you on the phone before, and that basically is, I think that Hedera with the hash graph consensus protocol will be the solution moving forward to solve and put an end to online hacking as long as the company has a contract with something like Hedera. How so? Because it's verifying instantaneously if these hackers / cheaters are legit. Are they using aimbot? Are they using a wall hack, ESPs, and all this stuff? I think they saw that solution. You won't see anything about it right now, Will, about Activision or Electronic Arts, but I think it's inevitable with regulatory clarity, regulations moving forward, that guess what? If I'm Dr. Lehman Barrett or Mance Harmon, I say, hey, Activision, check us out. We can solve the problem that you have. What if their analytics, and I know it's hypothetical, state that they lose anywhere from 20 to 30% revenue per annum because of these hackers. Well, if your base is basically, I don't know, 500 million, over a billion people, let's say it is a billion people, that is 1/8 of the world's population who games. You're trying to tell me that they're not going to sign up for this? They're going to sign up for it big time. And that in itself is one sleeping factor I don't think anybody is really talking about. You're a gamer. We love gaming. It's been a while since we game because we're busy, but your thoughts?
Yeah, I have to agree. Nothing more aggravating than being killed by, a cheater. And or even in the realm of cheating, it was also as equally aggravating to be accused of cheating whenever you just outdid them, right? You just got a good skill shot in with a little bit of luck, and then they blame you for cheating because cheating was something that's possible. So, man, when they implement that and eliminate the idea of cheating, yeah, it's gonna enhance playability because at least it's skill against skill or luck against luck or the mixture, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I agree. And HBAR seems to be the solution for all kinds of security. It's not just going to be gaming. That particular token, the guys created a fantastic um, token or coin or whatever you want to call it with the hashgraph technology. So it'll be exciting to see how far HBAR is going to go up in price.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it too. There is a want and need for ultimate security. And of course, it isn't just gaming. As pointed out, literally the United States Department of Defense. So, with that said, everybody, we really appreciate you guys listening to these outlines. Again, trying to get back to a regular scheduled basis of content with our brother Will Fix. And last but not least, if you guys can do us a solid and type in this key term into the comments, and that is Moha forever. MOHAA, the number 4 and ever. And we'll
Sure.
know that you listen to the entire outline. And if anything, know that Will and I's all-time favorite first-person shooter video game was Medal of Honor, Allied Assault, the prequel to Call of Duty. Little known fact. We'll see you on the next one.